Welcome to the Hawks Talk podcast. All things Blackburn Hawks.
In behind the defence, cuts around, scores! Blackburn Hawks win this game 8 goals to 5.
All the latest news, player interviews and much more.
Shoots, scores!
Hawks Talk.
First up, he's recently been dubbed as the governor and the head coach of the Blackburn Hawks, Mr. Ollie Lomax. How are you?
All right, G, yourself?
Yeah, I'm not so bad, thank you. How have you been keeping busy this summer?
Spent a lot of time on football pitch sidelines, watching Freya do a thing, and a lot of time spent on the M60 Manchester Ring Road. But I won't change it for the world. But yeah, that's pretty much been mine, Nicole, and Layla's summer.
I was just going to say congratulations to Freya as well. She's just been signed to Manchester City, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's doing really well. Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Next up, we have treble-winning captain and now player coach. Oh, Andy McKinney. It is Andy McKinney. How are you?
Yeah, really good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not so bad. How have you been spending your summer?
Busy. Busy with work. Busy recovering from Benidorm. Busy on the golf course. Lots of golf, lots of hiking. Lots of time with my boys, and then been busy. Me and Ollie have been busy in the background, obviously, with the roster that we've assembled and all the stuff that goes on with that sort of stuff and equipment. And I've got skates to go pick up tomorrow. We've got training Thursday, golf day Friday, so it's all kicking off.
Nice. So, Ollie, first of all, congratulations on becoming head coach. When did you get offered that role, and what did that conversation look like?
First and foremost, I know the title goes with what we've said, but it's definitely a joint venture between me and Andy. I don't like the term head coach. I don't think it's fair on either of us, but obviously we've built up a very good friendship. We're very similar people. We both have very high standards, and we played the game in a similar way. I know Andy was a lot better than I was, but we definitely play with our hearts. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to it. Like, obviously, I have such a good friendship, and I still keep Dom quite close, and he's going to be in the background. And if I need any advice, I know he's there. But so energised to get to work with Andy. Like, we've spoke a hell of a lot this summer. Previous summers, we've played golf together and whatnot, and just like relaxed a bit. But this year's been a lot of work, and Andy's done most of that, so credit to him. But yeah, we're just excited to get back to it, get the new boys in, get back on the ice and get going.
You mentioned it there. You spent several seasons working alongside Dom Osman. What was it like working with him, and what would you say you've learned from him that you're going to take into this role?
Just a lot, really. Just how to hold yourself on the bench. Like, even when Dom was away on business over the last few years, like, obviously his jobs took him back transatlantic a few times, and obviously I've had to run the bench solo. I just think I'm a lot more comfortable. I think I'm definitely in my comfort zone when I'm on the bench. I don't shirk from big decisions. I'm happy to have my head on the chopping block and stuff like that. And listen, everyone's not going to like it, but it's for the betterment of the club. But yeah, just like, there's been good times, well, more good times than bad times. But even when, I wouldn't say I let myself down, because that's my character. Like, I say what I mean, and I wear my heart on my sleeve. But yeah, just pure emotion. Just that's what it's been like with me and Ozzy for the last few years. And then for him to go out the way that we went out in Coventry, perfect way to tie a little nice bow on it. But then me and Andy have got work to do to try and emulate that. We've had a little taste of that, but the size of our club at this level, it's where we want to be. It's where we want to return. We don't want to rest on our laurels. If you stand still, you're going backwards in my eyes. A lot of other teams around the league strengthening, and we're making no bones about it. We mean business, and we mean business straight away.
Andy, congratulations as well to you on taking on the player coach role. What made you want to take that next step in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it was a natural step for me. I mean, I've always wanted to give it a go. Didn't really get that opportunity elsewhere, like places like D-side. When I was originally leaving Telford, I did have 2 offers to be a player coach. And I was a bit unsure, didn't really know what to do, and I had a young family, so I wanted to stay local in Chester and D-side. And one thing led to another. It didn't really work out, and I was going to actually retire, and then that's when kind of got bored. You know, you come to September and, you know, the nights are, the sun is you know, it starts getting darker, and then you start thinking, oh, you're looking around and everyone's playing hockey. So come late October, I touch base with Dom and come on board as a player. And then, you know, I had a taste of it last year as being the captain. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't swear.
It's all right.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I just thought it was a natural step. And obviously when they approached me and Ollie to see if we were interested, you know, it was just a natural progression for both of us, really. And you know, working together as co-coaches, it's going to be exciting. And like I said, me and Ollie's been coaching already. I've done a bit with juniors in the past. But yeah, thoroughly looking forward to it. This summer's been a learning curve. Unfortunately, you know, we're losing players like Jackson and breaking the news to him. You know, it kind of did break my heart a little bit, but we couldn't, unfortunately, bring him on board as a player because of the visa situation. But it's just been a real learning curve. But, you know, me and Ollie have been smashing it so far.
That kind of leads us on to this next question, I guess. What is it going to be like for you adapting from being a player? I suppose it kind of fits in with being a captain as well, but also having those coaching responsibilities as well. How are you going to adapt to that?
Yeah, I think me and Ollie have got a great understanding with that sort of stuff. You know, during the games and stuff like that, I'm very much going to be focused on, you know, doing my bit as a player. And obviously Ollie's going to be, you know, the bench coach and we're in that way. And we really don't need to, we're in a good position as a club where we really don't need to be, you know, changing anything drastically tactically unless we're in one of those games where we can do it in between periods. We've got such depth of squad where any player, any player on our team could be the game changer that night. And that's what we've built the squad to be. It's not just, you know, you 1 and 2s getting up there with the highest points in the league. We want to spread that across the board, and that's what we showed last year. So we're just really excited to get our teeth stuck in. We're starting early. We're starting on the 13th of August. And I know a lot of the players have kicked up a bit of a fuss about that, but that's what the board wanted. And we're just excited to get going. We've got media day. We've got the best social media in the league. And we've got the golf day on Friday, and we've got 2 brand new imports coming into the country, which I don't think the club's done before. Ollie could probably correct me on that, but both Lucas flown in today, Elmiri tomorrow. You know, it's exciting times for the club, and we really want the city to get behind us.
You touched on it a little bit there, but what would you say is each of your strengths that you're going to bring to this partnership? Is it you've talked about while you're playing, you're going to focus more on your playing and Ollie on the bench, but how's that going to work in training and things?
Well, we have sport the last few weeks since the season's drawing nearer and nearer. We're both very organised. Like, we both have decent positions at work. I manage people on building sites day to day. Andy, obviously, insurance broker. So we're both professional people. We know how to handle ourselves. So on practice, we're going to be very organised. Everything's going to be written down. Practice is going to be put up on the glass. But I think we're just both, we just care. Like, what you see is what you get. There might be some raw emotion interviews come out this season, but I think our fans will appreciate that. Like, we're not going to mince our words. If we're playing rubbish like one night, guaranteed we're going to go in the room and tell the players to the face that they're playing rubbish and it's not acceptable. But equally, if they're having an absolute barnstormer, me and Andy are going to be the first people to say, you're absolutely smashing it tonight, boys. Let's go. Let's keep going. So I think it's honesty and it's accountability and it's just caring. It's just being part of something that we're building. And Dom's made an absolute fantastic impression on this club. 5 years, 5 trophies. But as was previously touched on this podcast, we're not done. We're not done. Every sport and every good team has a window to win. Our window is open. So it's mine and Andy's job to continue this train moving forward, and let's fill that silverware back up in that bar.
That kind of leads us on a little bit to one of our questions sent in by Lance, who is familiar to both of you, the match night coordinator. How different do you think the dynamic is going to be between what you had with Dom and now with Andy from a coaching point of view?
I don't think it's going to be too dissimilar, and the players might not want to hear this, which is fine. I'm the coach. I'm not the, well, obviously I am the pal, but I'm not the pal when it's obviously game day. I've got a job to do, but listen, I love Dom and I love how he coached and it's proved successful. But Dom was 100% players' first coach, and he'll be the first person to jump behind me and say, "Listen, he's got the boys back first." But I have as well. But I think the dynamic will be a little bit more like these are the standards, these are the accountabilities. We're not having no nights off. Everybody needs to be available for the big games. Sheffield on a dinner time face off. We need to get in there. We need to be professional. We need to win. We need to win well. Get back home. Repeat the job on a Sunday night. Nobody is dropping the standards below a certain level, and we've got a roster to sit people. And again, the players might not want to hear this, but it's nothing I'm not going to say to the first on Thursday night. We've built a team to go out and win. So the dynamic between me and Andy will just be honesty. I think that's a very, very key word: honesty and accountability from day one.
Fantastic. Andy, last season was extraordinary. 3 major trophies, including a league title, the playoff title, and the club's first National Division 1 championship. How do you even go about following a season like that?
Yeah, I mean, me and Ollie have got a meeting with the board, I believe, with targets and aspirations and where we want to be. But I think me and Ollie know deep down of where we want to be. You know, we want to emulate that at a minimum, to be honest. We've got the group to do it. You know, everyone around the league is whatever. They all hate us, scared of us, whatever it is. We don't care. We're focused on ourselves. We know what the task in hand is. You know, very much the start of the season is getting into that rhythm and building towards that league title, making sure that we win that cup this year. Last year was a massive upset with, you know, being 4-2 up and losing against our arch rivals. So that's not going to happen this year, unfortunately. We're going to go and win that trophy. And then, we just progress and it would be nice to win in Sheffield this year as a national playoff. Unfortunately, we lost to Streatham. And then, you know, Coventry and Slough was an absolute amazing game of hockey. We come up against a team full of youngsters, full of skill. And we almost, you know, for large parts of that game, we absolutely dominated. Got a little bit sketchy at the end. But they're a great team and they put on a performance. So, I mean, everyone on the team can hold their heads up high, and even the players that unfortunately are not returning because we wanted to improve in certain areas. You know, it's a big achievement for them as well, and they're leaving the club. So I just think we just want to, you know, progress and then just continue that. And the buy-in from the lads has been fantastic, and they're just as hungry, if not more.
Are your arms still sore from your trophy list last season?
Yeah. I mean, popping my shoulder out as well. It's that wasn't very nice. But yeah, it's been fun. It was nice. Would have been a bit of a better celebration. I think we beat Leeds on the Saturday.
Yeah,
and then we were supposed to celebrate, but then lost to D-side on the Sunday. But well.
Coach got tossed out that game, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, what a night that was. There was some drama that night.
Lessons learned.
Ollie, the National Division 1 title was the first national title in the club's history. Where does that rank among the achievements that you've been a part of at Blackburn?
The top. I mean, that's unbelievable. The only slight downside I would have had of that is not that we weren't expected to win it. I don't know. I'm probably going to come across with a bit of a strange answer here. Usually when we go to buildings, we pack it out. Like the wins in Billingham over the years. I think we've won more trophies in Billingham than we've won our home ice.
That is correct. Yeah.
We've had 3 trophy lists in that building, but there's been numerous pictures of like full like crowd supporting us and at home. And Coventry was just, I don't know, with it being a dinner time face-off, with it being the Steel City Showdown the week before, listen, I take my hat off to every single Hawks supporter that went down there, that supported us. It was unbelievable. And to share that moment and to put our product and our team out on a national level, like I read a lot of good words about the club, like, listen, Blackburn at the national level, this, that and that, they could, the operation that they have. And that's testament to everybody at the club, not just the lads out on the ice who, listen, it's the lads out on the ice that get the results, but it's testament to people like yourself, Graham, the board, obviously my wife, Nicole. She works every single night on the social media, Chantel, Luke, all the volunteers on the match night, Cloud on the gate. it literally starts from like September, and to finish where we did, and to answer your question, it's probably the highlight of my career. Listen, I'd have rather won it as a player. Coaching is a very close second to playing, but nothing's gives you that emotion of being in a battle and being side by someone on a draw. But to see players like Andy and McKinney and Paul and Bob, just siege mentality. Like, my neck was hurting, just keep looking up at that scoreboard in Cov. And then when Slough got that deserved goal, 5-4, I think there was still 8 minutes left. And Harrison absolutely locked it down. Siege mentality, chip pucks out, icing's fine. And just to get it done, and the pure emotion that poured out of all of us, obviously, it continued on the bus all the way back to Blackburn. Roydie drinking his buzz balls, and everyone's partners on the bus, and clearing the services out of beer and stuff. Just great times. And then to just jump straight on the plane and go to Benidorm and get some deals done in Benidorm, actually, but I'm sure we'll get onto it later. But just to enjoy time together away, it was great. But we probably only had like a week off to get our heads around it, and then we got to presentation. And then, just as Andy alluded to before, as soon as we finished presentation, I think it was my job to touch base with the players that are moving on. And I'd just like to put on record, there's only 21 lads that have won a national trophy at Blackburn, and Luke Watson goes down as one, Cade King goes down as one, Jacob Hadjek, Harrison Walker and Dylan Hullaby. 5 absolute beauties, great guys, and we couldn't have done that without them. So I wish them all the very best. We'll see some of them along the line. I hope they have a great year, but time to try and get back there.
Just talking about that bus trip back from Coventry, you have no idea how hard it was to find a service station that had beer. Like, it was ridiculous.
Oh man, we stopped at I think it wasn't Rugby, but it was somewhere we stopped, and it was like an hour out of Cov, because we literally was drinking pints. I think Watty was like just bringing beers into the room with you, and so we're drinking the pints, and then we're on the bus, and then how unlucky is this? We stopped at the services, which is like a notorious stopping ground for football fans. So there was like zero alcohol there, and we're just like, oh my god! And then like, it wasn't our regular bus driver; it was Sound. Like, honestly, Red Rose, the best drivers, they're absolute class. And then this guy was laughing, and he's just like, what is going on? And then Roydie comes past with a speaker on his shoulder, his glasses on upside down, buzz balls straight to, oh man, it was class. But they're what you remember. When we won the cup in Billingham, like, Josh Crawley was, like, he was on the bus with us, and Nick was like, obviously his dad, he was like, you got to go on the bus, Josh, you got to go on the bus. He's like, yeah. We get back to Blackburn, he's there just getting his way off the bus. Nick's picking him up with the biggest grin on his face. Well, that'll stand him in good stead in senior hockey. Like, Andy will have been there as a youngster, I've been there, but yeah, it was just surreal, that bus trip, weren't it?
Oh, it was unreal. And them last minutes of that game in Coventry, I remember I was stood where the gate was, facing away from the ice. I couldn't watch it, and then the buzzer went, and there's a video of like me, you, and Dom and Ali just absolutely just jumping on each other. It was crazy. Yeah,
I mean, like, listen, I'm a one club man, except for a short stint in Billingham all those years ago. But I have won trophies at Blackburn before, and it being my home club, obviously everyone's special. But I think I can keep it within myself now. I'm 38 years old, I'm quite dignified, but kitchen sink the window and that went, oh my god! And then the next 7 days, that 4-day hangover back from Benners and that Western salute, Jesus Christ! But I can't wait to start that roller coaster again this week.
We'll talk about Benidorm in a bit, because it was superb. Also, the league title ended the 10-year wait, having won the previous 2 as a player with the club. When you look back, what does that achievement mean to you personally now, winning it as a coach?
I think it's just progression. Like, take me out of the equation. If you look where the club was at when I finished my playing career, if I look back now, 31's probably a little bit too early to call it, but that's the position the club was in. It was going nowhere. It was something that I love, and I was watching it slowly disappear. So then when Carl Everett, my dad, got involved, obviously, then we had the COVID shutdown, then to get it going again, and then to get through that first couple of years, then we brought Dom in, finished middle of the pack, finished 4th, finished second, got the cup, and then to get that league title, obviously that's Coventry's the biggest one, and that's what we want to do again, and that's what the boys want to do again. But the league title's special, and 10 years is a long time in sport. And listen, I know I'm biased. I live 2 minutes down the road. You cut me in half, and I'm blue and white. I'm from Blackburn, but the club is massive. Blackburn Hawks, Whitley Warriors, the biggest club at this level. And to see the crowds that Whitley get on a Sunday, if they go on to win the SNL title again, that place is going to be packed. And I'd like to see him come back in here, but obviously they're smashing it business-wise there. And you see the emotion when Whitley are flying. That's a tough place to go, and they're a massive club at this level, and their support is phenomenal. And we're on a par with them. To see us coming back from where we were, like a phoenix rising from the flame, and the board have got to take massive credit for that, and people who've moved on from the business. But we are where we are now. I touched on it earlier. Me and Andy are ready. We're locked and loaded. We're ready to go. That window's open. We're not going to settle. No one's going to give it to us. No one's going to hand it us on the plate. But we want to get it done again.
Andy, last season began with some statement signings, bringing in the likes of Harrison Walker, the infamous Baz and Chaz. And there was a point where it looked like we were going to be unbeatable, but do you think that added some pressure, and did that affect anyone at any time, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like we've got a great squad, but anything can happen in hockey. You know, you go into a place like Solihull or a Billingham away, those are the big games, and they're very difficult to play in. And you've got to give credit where credit's due. D-side have got some fantastic players, and when their goalie was rocking on his head, Tyler, last season, they made it very difficult for us. So we can't just win every game or be expected this year. We definitely won't win every game this year. I can tell you that for starters. But what we want to try and do, and that's what we did last year, was we don't lose two. We do not lose two in a row. And that was our motto our whole year. And we kept ourselves accountable for that. And that's why we only lost, 4 games in the league. So we just kept ourselves accountable for that, and every player in the group bought into that. So it's just about striving, just about getting better, just making sure we turn up and listen. I think this year, with me and Ollie being coaches, I think the training sessions on a Thursday night are going to be a lot more high intensity. We're going to be fitter. I believe we'll probably definitely be fitter with the amount of skating we'll be doing, and just playing at a high tempo. Because don't get me wrong, it is very difficult. You go from playing a D side and then you go to a Leeds or a Sheffield on a Sunday night, and they're young kids, they're young aspiring kids, but you're just not getting that real test, and that's the problem with our league at the moment. So it's about keeping the players engaged. It's about keeping them accountable and just making sure that we show up and do a professional job. Like I said, we're not the ones that around the league they like to run up the scores, like Solihull's and D sides. They love those types of games where all they can get their points and their cookies. But we're about going in, doing a professional job, and at the end of the day, coming out with trophies.
We clinched the league. You mentioned it earlier in February, Valentine's Day to be exact. Do you think winning the league at that time had an effect on the rest of the regular season? How do you think the rest of the season ran in?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't great. We could have won it earlier as well. We could have won it in January, which is crazy. But winning it in February, we did need to keep the players engaged. Certain players who had niggling injuries, needed a bit of time off away from the rink on a Thursday, but then come in and play the games, etc. And then, unfortunately, we didn't have a great run in March due to scheduling and stuff like that. A couple of fixtures off, which is not ideal when you're building into the playoffs. But at the end of the day, the league is the league. The quicker you can get it sealed up, the better. Maybe this year it might be a different story where we're running into March and there's a bit of a battle there. We love competition, and we're waiting for the challengers to come to us and try and take it off us.
What were your thoughts on the end of the season, Ollie? How did you think it panned out just before the playoffs?
Oh yeah, similar to Andy. Listen. Once you get something done and you get it over the line, we're expected to do it, and we got ourselves into a position last year when it was a case of when, not if, and we managed to get it done. And then the pure emotion of those scenes in Leeds and all credit to Leeds, by the way. Class organisation who let us celebrate on the ice. Like, pretty classy move from Mr. Monroe behind the Leeds bench that night. But yeah, it's tough. Like, we're all competitive athletes at the end of the day, and you thrive off competition, and that's where our record sort of, I won't say nosedive, but just took a little turn. I think if we were neck and neck with another team coming down the stretch, I think we could have been up there with one of the league records. I know Billingham posted a record number of points a couple of years ago, and credit to them. They did pretty well that season, but yeah, it's tough, and I think it maybe had a knock-on effect to the cup competition. To win to win the league title before the cup finals even been taking place. I know we lost the semi-final still leading up to the league, but I don't know, if we were more battle-hardened, maybe we could have got that job done. Listen, we should have got that job done. No excuses, and D-side thoroughly deserves to go on and win that trophy, every credit. But yeah, you just want that competition every night. You want to get it done and dusted early, but yeah, it's tough. It's just tough keeping everyone engaged.
Andy, the playoffs are a completely different beast and environment from the regular season. What do you think the team showed during that run that perhaps wasn't obvious sort of from the outside looking in?
I think we come with the right attitude. We obviously playing Nottingham in the quarterfinal. We come with the right attitude. We reiterated that let's play the right way. We're not going to get into a gung-ho game. We're not going to try and run up the score. We're just going to do everything the right way and how we should play the next game. It was a toss-up between Telford or Billingham. To be fair, I'm kind of glad we got Billingham. It set us up really nicely for the final against D-side. Play Billingham, high intensity. Fantastic that we both didn't shake each other's hands at the end of the game, but hey ho, I've played this game for 20 plus years. On the Saturday, if you win, I've never shook anyone's hand. You shake it on the Sunday. They didn't want to shake it on the Sunday because we beat them. So there we go, and then we go into D-side, and we're playing at bloody 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. or whatever it was in Sheffield, and those types of games with tons of fans there, delays, stuff like that. It could have went either way, and I think both sets of fans set those games up nicely for us to play in that kind of atmosphere, and we did a great job, and we got the job done. So it was a fantastic experience, and then just unfortunately we didn't have enough left in the tank for the Sunday game against Streatham.
What were your thoughts on the game, Andy? Obviously, like playing it, and you come out of it with an injury as well. So how frustrating was that?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was proper off. Second period, just kind of got hit from behind, went into the boards and felt my shoulder go. And then Beth took me into the change room and moved my arm, and you literally could hear the pop. So it's obviously popped back into place, and got it strapped up, took some painkillers and got back out there where I really couldn't hold the top of my stick. So I can't remember. I think I was making Jakey take some of the face-offs because I really couldn't do much. But at the end of the day, when the adrenaline's going, you can't really feel that pain that much, and it was just about getting to the end goal. I think at the end of the game, I think Sam Zajac had 3 guys in the corner battling them all off, and me and Paul, I think, were on the ice. And was it a 5-on-3? I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah.
They probably pulled their goalie, but I
think Tom Barry took a penalty with 7 seconds left to go.
Yeah, what a shock.
So it was just great intensity, and then obviously, when your shoulder pops out like that, you're going to struggle the next day. And I just literally couldn't move. I couldn't even hold the hockey stick. So a bit of a shame. Maybe I could have tried on the Sunday, but I think I would have just hampered the team more than anything. And at the end of the day, I wanted to make sure at least I could have some rest before the Coventry playing against Slough and stuff. So it kind of, it worked in our favour that way. But the lads did fantastic. We had Dylan and Hadge, who both have left the club. They both popped up and scored fantastic goals. Unfortunately, I was in the change room. I went into the change room to get looked at by Beth, and I'm pretty sure there was 4 goals that I missed.
In about 4 minutes.
It was crazy.
Allegedly banned Dylan Hullaby. That's a story for a different day. What were your thoughts on that game, Ollie?
Yeah, I think Dylan Hullaby is going to serve his ban this season. I think that's what got decided. So I think he's going to serve his ban this season. Yeah, with that game, I think. Listen, I'm going to pay some compliments to my fellow coach here, and there's a lot of leaders who I've shared dressing rooms with, and when Andy came in season before last, listen, me and Dom had earmarked him to lead us to where we wanted to go pretty early, and when it was time for Aaron to move on, there was only one guy for the job, and we spoke about progression before, and just to see how Andy led the troops right through the season. He's played professional ice hockey before. He practices like a professional ice hockey player. He prepares like a professional ice hockey player. And then to lead us into battle in those finals, listen, I've been there playing through injury. It's tough. But when you're the captain, when you're one of the best players on the team, that's when it's time to stand up and be counted. For him to return, it gave the boys an absolute boost. Seeing your captain come out of the dressing room with dosed up on painkillers, going out there, blocking shots, chipping pucks out. And I think that's partly what got us over the line. And then it was, listen, when Dom decided it was time to go, he had the same suggestion as we did to obviously promote Andy alongside myself. And listen, it's progression. You'd be an idiot to think this is the wrong decision. But to have a person like that, have the respect as soon as he opens his mouth, you can hear a pin drop when Andy talks, and everyone looks up to him. So I know he's absolutely going to smash it out of the park this year. And it was the right decision to rest on Sunday against Streatham, by the way, who we didn't get absolutely near. They absolutely smacked our asses. 2-0, absolutely flattered us, by the way. I thought we was okay on the night, but I thought they were absolutely superb. For credit to the Red Hawks that night, they fully deserved that. But then to go into Cov, obviously he'll tell you how he felt now in a minute. He's sure he's going to chime in, but he must have been sore. As soon as he flicked Ramstein on the bus when we were driving into Cov, I thought Andy McKinney's here, but listen, blocking shots, leading, winning draws, telling people where to go on draws, chipping pucks out, getting in lanes. There's no one who deserved to lift that trophy in commentary more than Andy, and fair play to the lad.
Fantastic. The Red Hawks, were they what you expected from them, Ollie? Did you do any research leading up to that game?
I think we got the prep wrong. I'll hold my hand up. We'd earmarked the teams against the South pretty early. When we knew the league was going to be tied up, it was either Streatham or Slough. So myself and Dom had done a lot of work on watching how they play, how they set up, what they do in their own end, the goalies. Because we're representing the North at the end of the day, we want to do what we did, bring at least one trophy back and celebrate hockey in the North. But as soon as we got that done against D-side, I think we focused a lot more on the team that we were playing rather than the team who we are. We should be talking a little bit more about ourselves. And over the 5 years, we've got a lot of things right, but we've had some honest conversations, me and Dom, and we probably got that prep a little bit wrong. That little talk before the game, like we're coming up against a good team here. We can't just wing pucks out and try and toe drag people. Like we've got to play some sort of systematic way, and we didn't really play that way all year. We went north every single game. We outshot every single team. But players like Ryan Watt and Harvey Stead and Luke Brittle and other people that they've got, that Vanya, whatever he's called.
Vanya Antonov, yeah.
He was really, really good. And listen, I'd love to be in a situation where we could play those guys week in, week out, and I think they'd like that too. But I think players at this level settle at this level because of what it gives you, the work-life balance. When you get to the ages that these lads are, obviously they get decent in their careers and stuff. Practicing one night a week, just travelling regionally, it appeals, doesn't it? It does appeal. But I wish there was just another alternative way that we could play your Streathams back-to-back, your Sloughs back-to-back, your Chelmsfords, your Invictus, because there's a lot of good things down there, and I like how they mix it up. Like the referee put his whistle in the back pocket, like how playoff hockey should be.
Yeah.
Respect. Sammy going toe-to-toe with Alan Lack, like it was just good. It was like hockey 10 years ago. I just wish there was some way that we could replicate that, but there isn't, and we've got to hope that we can get to Coventry and Sheffield again and get into those battles. But yeah, we probably got the prep a little bit wrong, but we got what we deserved in the end.
There was two things that I remember, one from each of those games. First against Streatham, I think it was Rids got hit in like the first like minute of the game or something. And like he has never been hit that hard in his life. He was like horizontal,
No,
like
he had
in
his head
midair.
down. He had his head down, and if you get your head down and you're playing against, I say it all the time, it's a running joke, but if you're a man playing man's ice hockey playing against men, you're going to get treated like a man and you're going to get put on your backside. We could sort of get away with that at this level in the North to an extent. Even when we play the better teams, there's not many teams that like mixing it up. We can do that. We can play with skill. We can mix it up as well. But yeah, I just think it was very good hockey. That Slough game was unbelievable. That siege mentality to get that over the line. But I just don't think that we gave a full account of ourselves on that Sunday. Be tired from the night before, tired from a long season, missing our influential captain. But yeah, I'd love to face those guys numerous times throughout the year. I think it'd be like an epic battle, both Slough, Streatham, Invicta, Chelmsford. I like what the South do and how they play.
In Coventry as well, them Hawks banners that just seem to appear, I believe they were from a Streatham fan that donated them, which I think is pretty cool. And they were just that desperate for us to beat the Jets, so I think that helped a little bit as well.
Yeah, it's good crack, but equally I think it's a little bit respectful as well because they don't want Slough cleaning up down south because they've got a very good rivalry going down there, the Slough.
Definitely.
I'd like to take one of those in, but I'm not driving all the way down to London to watch NIHL 1 hockey. But yeah, it's very good. I think it's a rivalry built on respect, similar to us in D-side. Like I know we jive and we have the odd crossway with D-side, but if you look what the Dragons are doing, what they're building, like the calibre of their imports, obviously Ross Kennedy's built in D-side, a very good friend of mine and Andy, and he's having an outstanding couple of years. And the additions that they're making, Reece Edwards and people like that, very, very good side. And it just goes to show, like, if teams can push the envelope in our league, we probably could turn it into more like the South. Because if you look at the competitions, the South is better. Like, I think the South is better. Maybe not top end. Like, well, throughout the league, top end, I think we can play against their top end teams. But I mean, like the depth of their competition. I think they get more challenges, and I think it's more competitive and more. I don't want to be like disrespectful, but you know you're in a game if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
there's more fights, there's more hits, and there's just more going on. I just think the North could take a little piece out of that, but D-side is strengthening up, they're retooling, they want to have a run at us, and we welcome that, and we can't wait to get that rivalry on. Let's keep it respectful. Let's not take it over the line. Play between the whistles and stuff like that. Let's fill their building, let's fill ours, and let's have a real good rivalry in the Northwest. And you've got to give Widnes some credit. They're going to be up and about this year. They're going to be higher than they were, and I hope our old boys have a good season. Ollie T between the pipes as well. But yeah, hockey's built on rivalries, and like Andy said before, we welcome all challenges. Bring it.
So, Andy, 3 trophies that inevitably bring some great memories. Can you give the fans a bit of an insight on some celebrations in the dressing room, stuff that fans didn't get to see? Keep it clean if you can.
I mean, to be fair, like, you know, whenever you win a trophy, you know, I've been fortunate enough to win it at other clubs as well and in different leagues, and it's just getting in that change room. It's, you know, sparking up the cigars. It's getting naked with the boys. It's, you know, rubbing soap into each other's backs. It's like, you know, they're what we dream about, and, you know, getting some champers on the go. That's what we'd love to do, and that's, you know, getting, you know, seeing the fans, you know, being on the ice and stuff, and getting the beers flowing. You know, it's always great. Like Ollie touched on with the bus on the way back. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it was a special moment for me and my kids to enjoy. But I was not drinking as I was driving. I had a couple, but you know, and sharing those special moments with my youngsters is, you know, massively special for me. But you just kind of reflect on the season as a whole, and, you know, it comes to a T, and you feel this sense of elation. And like I said, we rolled straight over and we went straight to Benidorm. You know, I think I was on the for a good 10 days. Like, I'm not even joking. I think on the last day of Benidorm, I took myself off, and I you know, Benidorm not for me, and I'm not going next year. But I took myself off to Alicante, so I went on a nice little wine tour because I'm a bit of a nerd. And I just needed to get away from the noise of Benidorm. But no, it's fantastic, and that's what you want to do, and we want to try and emulate that again. And it's fantastic just doing it with it's a long season. We're starting August, we'll finish mid-April. That's 8 months. That's crazy. And when you get to those final few months, it's like, it's almost. I always say, like, come January, because obviously it gets depressing, like November, December, then you have Christmas, January, February, March, quite depressing. But you're looking towards the summer. As a player, I was always like, yes, let's get this season over with. It's going to be fantastic if you've got a trophy in your hand. So let's get the trophy and then just go and enjoy your summer. Because that's when you play your best hockey, when you're enjoying it and you know what's at the end goal.
Ollie, Andy mentioned it there, the pilgrimage, shall we say, to Benidorm that occurs each and every summer, which Andy will be coming next year. I'll have to tie him up and bundle him in a kit bag. But
it's in his contract, pal, to be honest.
Do you want to tell the fans a little bit of an insight into that, how it started, and some stories that are radio friendly?
Yeah, well, a lot of people remember Tom Revez, who's actually coaching at the Aces with Joe Grieve now. Like, Tev's a good friend of ours. He was playing on the team that year. And I think it was the year where I took interim head coach when Mike Clancy left the club. We were just speaking. I think the season had ended. We'd been knocked out in the playoffs or something, but we were just on the bus. And we're thinking, what can we do for an end of season night out? A really good bunch of boys on the team, like Bailey Hodgkinson, Mike Rogers with the goalies. And like, we weren't very competitive most nights, but we was just like a solid group of lads, and we just wanted to like have a good time at the end of the year. So we priced up going to like Leeds or Birmingham on a night out and overnight. And then we just said, what about Benidorm? And then we started watching clips and looking at the Red Lion and stuff like this. And then it was an absolute no-brainer. Like Andy said, you spend 8 months of the year together, and just this year we're unbelievable. Like, the elation of winning. Listen, it is a pilgrimage what we do now, and it's one of my favourite weekends of the year. Like, I'm 38 years old. Like, I'm a father and a husband 51 weeks of the year. And when you go to Benidorm with the boys, it's just unbelievable. Like, obviously nothing silly or anything like that, but just sharing times of the season and talking and just walking down that beach where all the bars are, and then you pop in. But yeah, just unbelievable. I mean, Ali had the wildest 48 hours I've ever seen on the mainland Spain. Like, it was incredible. I'm surprised he got his passport stamped on the way out, but unbelievable scenes. Just to go as hard as he did for as long as he did, and then the inevitable downfall came when he went in the Sol Pelican swimming pool with his Sony Ericsson phone.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
that. But yeah, just to see like Dom come this year again to tie a bow on it, and Polly and everybody else. But yeah, and then other teams have started to do it as well. I'm not saying we started the thing, but I know Leeds have been out there a couple of times. Solway have started to do it. The Dogs have started to do it. And then there was the one Saturday night, I remember me and Chaz was just sat having a beer. Like, we were supposed to be a nightcap. I think it was 2 a.m. in the morning. So we just sat in the Western Saloon, and I think he gets a text off one of the Dogs lads, and I think Davy Phillips was meant to be knocking around, and obviously I know Davy from growing up, and Dom played with him at Hull, so we was like, right, let's go and have a beer. And then we got there, and Davy had gone back to the Dogs hotel, but all the Dogs boys were in there.
that. We ended up in the beach coma, wasn't it?
Got the beach coma. It was daylight, and Aussies throwing shirts with CJ Garcia. Just unbelievable. But it's just nice to just have that elation, like Andy said. But this summer was different, because as soon as that was done, we had the presentation evening, and then you've got to treat the players who are moving on with the utmost respect that they deserve. And then we got straight down to it, and we are where we are now. But it's just very exciting. One thing that I'm going to say, I hope, well, I know that season tickets are flying out. What the club have done with the free tickets for under 12s is a great incentive if people are out there thinking, what can we do with the kids? Just the kids are free. Like it's an absolute no-brainer. Get yourself down and invest in a big court if you've never been before. But I know that this is going to happen because of what the club's building and what everybody does. Like, and it's a chatter online. I can tell. Like Hawks fans are excited. You're excited, Graham. I can tell you're part of the staff now, but you're a Hawks fan at heart, and I know people are excited. Again, there's slight pressure on me and Andy, but pressure's a privilege. But it's exciting time. It's been exciting for a couple of years, and this year's going to be no different. So let's get back in that rink. It's going to be a tough test against Solway. It's going to be a tough test against Edinburgh. Very looking forward to them games, and let's just get the good times going, eh?
There's just two things from Benidorm that I want to mention. One of them was in the beachcomber. I remember being stood and Ali was at the side of me. You'd gone to the bar to grab 48 Smirnoff Ices or something like that. It was ridiculous. And then I said to Ali, "Where's Dom?" And he didn't say anything. He just kind of turned his body to the side. And you know that scene from White Tricks? Like, "Where's Latrell?" And he's like on dance floor giving it that. Turn around and Dom just absolutely nailing it behind. It was so funny.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, Dom. Like, I ruined with Dom. And first night, he puts his mad whale noise music on and he's time mask. And I'm like, "Oh, this is Benidorm, bro. Like, what are you doing?" And then, but to be honest, because we knew that Dom was moving on, it hadn't been announced yet, to share some special times with him. My family and his family have become quite close over the last couple of years through just working together. And we did have an afternoon where they put a barbecue on and we took all 3 trophies up to Selby and we sank another 47 Smirnoff Ices. And yeah, it was just unbelievable. But what a person and what a way to leave. And it's mine and Andy's job to carry that on now.
And we were in that Western bar. I think it was Dylan, actually. That was an experience taking an American to Benidorm. Two Americans, yeah. And there was that guy sat there with the cowboy hat on, that American cowboy hat on. And Dylan goes up to him, "Oh, nice. Whereabouts in America are you from?" And he just goes, "Wigan." Quality. So moving on then, this upcoming season, Ollie, how much of last season's identity are you looking to carry into this upcoming season?
Well, I think it's down to me and Andy to create our own identity. Again, we've touched on accountability a lot. Standards need to stay high, but we just need to be hard-nosed, come to work every single night. I know it's the age-old, like, hard work beats skill when skill doesn't work hard type thing. But listen, you're privileged if you play for this club. Like, what the board's doing, brand new helmets for the boys, brand new equipment bags for the boys. Ali's got his own vehicle for taking the gear to away games, all signed up. Elmiri and Luca have got their own car this year, so they're going to be able to go out and travel the northwest. It'd be cool for like Halsey, which is Elmiri, to nip back over to Sheffield and pick up his connections over there. And I think what the club has done, and Andy said we've not done this before, really. We've sort of, the last time we did this was with RJ and Kim a long time ago, but they didn't really have, he wasn't coming into I suppose they'd come in off a league title, but the club is a lot more professional now. We are an amateur club, but we pride ourselves on running professionally. And yeah, like, identity, I think the identity is going to be different. Like, Andy can touch on this before. I know I've been chewing your ear off for a good 7 or 8 minutes here, but time for Andy to chime in. I think our identity is just going to be hard-nosed.
Have you been keeping an eye on different signings around the league? How other teams are recruiting, Andy?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we all click on, you can't get away from it, can you, on social media and stuff like that. Obviously, like Ollie touched on, Widnes have improved, D-sides, we're bringing back a huge core. They'll be solid again. Solihull have got some players that have come and gone. Billingham look like they're kind of reshaping and remodelling. We're losing a couple of, long-standing players there. So it's exciting. Telford 2. Telford 2 will be very, very strong again. Tom Watkins and Jason Silverthorne know how to run teams down there. So we're excited, looking forward to get going. Like I said, in terms of, identity, I think will be slightly different. We've got more depth, which means more competition for spots, which means no one is safe. Like it comes down to accountability. If someone's having a stinker, unfortunately, me and Ollie are the type of people where you're going to be moved down the lineup or maybe sat a couple of periods or a game or two. So, we're going to be a bit cutthroat on that. We've got youngsters coming in. We've got, Owen Dell, hungry. He really wants to take someone's spot. We've got Regan Kidd. We've got Gary Simpson. We all know what he can do if he comes in and hits the ground running. And then we've got a Blackburn youngster, Josh Mills, who's going to be on a two-way, but could quite easily, improve massively by being in and around a professional setup. And we're just excited. I'm getting older. I might move down the lineup as goes on. And we're going to have suspensions. We're going to have injuries. But in terms of, I think, we've got the hunger, and I haven't even spoken about the two imports that we've just brought in. I mean, one's flown in today. The other one who flows in tomorrow is proven at the higher levels. I mean, he played in the Mets last year. The fans should be very excited to watch him play. And then you've got Jakey. Fingers crossed, Jakey has a touch of wood now. He's healthy all year. He could have a really good one. And then we've just got so much depth and so many players to talk about. And then obviously, Dimitri is a fantastic replacement for Harrison. We wish Harrison the best. We all love him. And Dimitri's proven and wants to win and is hungry to do that. And we're fully confident in his ability, obviously.
Dimitri, that was also done in the Benidorm transfer window. Negotiations did take place beachside. Oswald just in his ear. It was brilliant. The best salesman ever. It was superb. So good to watch. With the recruitment and things like that, obviously there's two people that share that responsibility. Andy, what involvement have you had and how have you sort of distributed that amongst yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite fortunate where I work at a desk. I'm self-employed. I'm on the phone all the bloody time. Like so you just touched on it, natural salesman. That's what I do day in, day out. And Ollie's, we catch up. We've been catching up weekly, WhatsApps all the time. We're very organised. We've got spreadsheets together. We've got targets which we wanted to go after. This was very much in the early phases, April, mid-April, straight after Benidorm, we hit the ground running, didn't we, Ollie? And got straight to it pretty much. It's been great. And then we're pretty much done come end of June with all the recruitment and signing. And then we had to rejig it around in July, just obviously with the Jackson situation with the visas. So, it's been a big real test and a real challenge, but it's been exciting as well. Learning curve, if we continue on next season, we're only going to be better at it.
In terms of the imports, you both touched on them at different points. How did they come about? Where did them conversations begin?
Yeah, you just get targeted by agents. I spoke to so many bloody agents. They can all. There's some good ones and some bad ones. But then again, players reach out to you. We are a club. And one thing I would say, if there's any young aspiring British youngsters who want to come and challenge themselves, we would love to hear from you. We've got one or two prospects, but we'd love to have a couple more. Don't be scared. We are a professional club. If you think you've got what it takes, then send us your elite prospects and stuff like that. But the imports, they kind of fall on your desk via agents and stuff like that. You can do your own desk research with Elite Prospects Premium. But then again, with Elmiri, it was very much players he's played for before, obviously with the Steel Dogs. So that one was a work in progress and just trying to get him over the line with making him feel as comfortable as possible. And then Luca actually approached us as well via an agent and a source. So that one was turned around quite quickly. I'm going to say within a couple of days, just because we wanted to get that done and dusted, me and Ollie, so we could at least enjoy a bit of some of ourselves and take it. We needed a good 2 or 3 week break from hockey completely. I'm pretty sure I put my phone away for a bit and didn't talk to anyone about hockey for a little while because you just need that break.
That kind of leads us perfectly onto one of the questions sent in by the fans, and this one's from Harley from NIHL North Updates. What does the team look for in their imports, and how do the Hawks look to develop Halfors and Lucas?
You want me to take this one?
Straight under the bus.
No, I mean, just to touch briefly on what Andy did, what he mentioned about recruitment before. Andy's day-to-day at his desk and his laptop, but he's probably doing himself a disservice there. It was 95% Andy McKinney on recruitment, and then 5% of my input, yay, nay, what do you think about this, what do you think about that? So he's doing himself a disservice there, but when it comes to the imports, again, and Hadge, Dylan, Ollie T, Peter Valusiak, imports that we've had over the last years have come in and they've been absolute, like, really good numbers wise, real good glue guys brought into the dressing room. Like when we brought Dylan in last year, we had a conversation, pretty awkward conversation to be honest. How does this come about when the board are offering you an import and me and Dom are saying we don't need an import? Our depth and our brick guys are good enough, but then Dylan's name come across the desk and then we looked at it and we did a bit of research and we brought him in and listen, unbelievable guy, like come up with some big plays, but you look across the league and Nick Otterson, who I still think is the best player at this level, he can put up 100 points. Obviously what Witt's doing in D-side's pretty unbelievable, and then Ian Brown's had a 70-goal season and then a 40-odd goal season, so that's one thing that the board wanted us to do, and as a coaching staff, we wanted to just go up a little bit of calibre in the imports. And again, no disrespect to the players that we've had in the past, they're proven winners. The CV says that, but Elmira, we were speaking about a kid, De Silva, in Toronto, me and Andy, and really good guy, played major junior, and we got quite a way down the line with him, and then things went quiet, and then obviously Jackson was done and dusted, but that didn't end up being the case later on. And then Elmira, I just sent his elite prospects to Andy and said, what do you think? Obviously Brams has played with him before, Chad has played with him before, 60 points at the national level. Let's shoot our shot, and he got in touch with Andy and listen, we're looking for him to come in and just settle. That's what I want him to do as fast as possible. I want him to enjoy being in the UK. He's a young guy. I want him to be able to pick the phone up to any one of the boys, go and have a pint, go and play a bit of pool, go and play some darts, whatever. Settle in the UK, get into the rhythm of being here, and then just go and play. Just go and play. Like, go and lead us. Like, put the team on your back occasional nights, but we don't need him to do that. But a player like that is probably going to come in and look to do that. So that's what we want from Elmira. We want him playing in all situations, special teams. That's no secret. Ideally, we want him to come in and find the net on a regular occasion. And then Luca, probably slightly different for Luca. Probably got a little bit less of a ceiling for Luca, which is great for him. Young kid, big guy, left-handed shot. Great guy, comes across really well. Again, he's come into the UK today. He's met a couple of the board members. Can't wait to meet him on Thursday. Just let him settle, let him find his feet, share with Elmira, get out and about in the car, meet the fans, and then just have a great year. And then if we can get their numbers up there, if we can get them the puck, and if they can just be good guys, though, like it's not all about going forward. It's about playing a bit of D as well. Listen, there's no pressure on there, but we've added 2 players who we want to add some more quality for us to go and win trophies. So if they can do that, great. But we are looking at them to put the puck in the net. But again, there's no pressure because we've got other people like that. We haven't even spoke about Adam Barnes. Adam Barnes, 50 goal scorer last year. And he's got a new streamline haircut this year. He's going to be fast.
I have seen that. He's got some nice skates as well. Another question for you, Ollie, sent in by one of the fans, Tom Leach. Speaking of defence, I think there's a question then on most fans' lips now. Will we have Sam Zajac again this year?
Well, I'll answer it a little bit and then I'll let Andy speak about this as well. The players that we rang up, and listen, Harrison was his own animal. He had aspirations to go back to the national level, and there was a deal done pretty soon there, and he was upfront about that, and we support him and Oldie and Leeds, and we wished him all the best. So that was done and dusted. But with the other players, listen, they're probably going to listen to this, and I love sharing a dressing room with all four of those guys. And like I said on the press release, when it got announced that they were leaving, they're leaving as proven winners at this level. And I actually get a bit of satisfaction in reading the press releases, like Witness's press releases. They mention proven winners at NIHL 1 level with medals, and they are. So for them guys to move on, like they have, is great. But with Sammy, we didn't announce that early on. Listen, there's no bones about it. He's next level. He reminds me of like just rolling out a Rolls Royce performance as and when needed. And there's no secret that he's very open and honest. And if there's anyone that deserves to have it on his terms, it's Sam Zajac. Conversations are open, but if he's done, listen, I've known Sammy a long time. I played with him since I was 11, 12 years old at conference and stuff. And to see him get to the levels where he got to last year, and when he finished at Leeds, he finished at Coventry as a winner, but in his tracksuit with his hand in a cast. So for Sam Zajac to go out at Coventry as a winner, if that's him done, great. We respect that. But equally, if he gets the itch, that number 4 stall is there. Again, we're not promising the supporters anything, but if there's a player that deserves to have it on his terms, mine and Andy's phone number is still in his phone book. We're there. It's on Sammy's terms, and listen, if he fancies it, we'd be stupid to not take it. But if not, what an unbelievable guy we had last year. That's it in a nutshell, really.
One for you then, Andy. This was sent in on TikTok. Which team do you think is going to be your dark horse this season?
Oh. Dark horse. I mean, I know I've spoke about it earlier on in the podcast. You know, we can't get away from the battles we had with D-side last year. And then again, we got Widnes, and it's not a nice place to play, and they'll make it difficult for us. When you're at the top of the league and you've got the squad that you've got, and you've got the rest of the league looking at what you're doing, and every team gets up for playing against us to make it so difficult. They want to win it as much as possible. So we said this in the change room last year. Like we hadn't had any easy games because everyone wants to try and beat us. Everyone wants to take a game against us. So you know, I highly think D-side and Widnes will be big rivalries again. I'm not sure what Billingham look like, to be honest. So we'll just see when we play them in the first weekend of the games. So yeah, that's pretty much it, really. Those teams.
Last 3 questions. These ones have been sent in for Ollie, and I'll let you guess who sent these in after. Are you changing the end of season to Kisno instead of Benidorm?
The what?
Kisno? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh, Chisenhall.
Chisenhall. Okay.
That's from Paul, isn't it? So we was in the airport in Alicante, flying home, and blokes are stupid, aren't we? We're not wired up right. We're stupid. Anyway, we're getting on the plane, and we're boarding obviously Manchester, and you go through the gate, and then you're waiting there, and everyone's coming off the Ryanair flight, buzzing that they're in Alicante, and then there's a flight next to us, and it was like Kissenau, where's that? Anyway, Paul gets on Google Maps, and it was a flight to Moldova, and we was like, Chisenhall. That's how it started. Like, we're playing to Chisenhall, and then that's what Paul's going on about. So it's sort of stuck now. So I think we even Googled to see if they had an hockey team to play some Moldovan pre-season. But no, we're definitely staying in Benny next year.
Who's the best shop assistant you've ever had in the Trafford Centre?
Best shop assistant, Scott Jenkinson, I think. He walked around with me. I picked a few t-shirts out, tried them on, and then he just went home and bought everything online. So,
and then one final one. Who has the best 24 hours ever recorded in Benidorm?
I think it was unbelievable scenes. Like, it's difficult to not go into too much detail, but everyone knows what Ali Culshaw's like. He's a box of energy, and listen, we probably wouldn't have achieved what we achieved last year without Ali and Anthony. And to see him be rewarded with like his own vehicle this year that's all signed up, and I know he feels $1 million when he's driving that. And teams at the level above don't get what Ali does. Like, listen, if we're playing Hull away, we turn up to Hull on the bus. Nobody has to get off the bus carrying their equipment in. They go into the dressing room, the table's set up. We've got a little kitty between the lads. We've got fruit on there. We've got flapjacks on there. We've got like a little bit of Haribo's on there. There's isotonic drinks. There's salts. There's loads and loads of towels, and nobody has to wash the gitch anymore and the sweats. Ali's got a little bin that the sweats go in and the washing gets done. So answer to your question, yeah, if anyone deserved the wildest 48 hours that the Spanish mainland's ever seen, that's Alistair Culshaw. And I believe he fell asleep on the toilet in someone's room, didn't he, Andrew?
Listen, I made it my mission for the two nights I could manage to make sure I got Ali in the biggest pickle as possible. So I'm not going to divulge any more information than that.
Superb. One final question then for each of you before we let you go. We've taken up enough of your time this evening. What is your one message for the Hawks fans? Andy, you can go first.
Let's just keep building, honestly. It's fantastic when we're playing in front of 13, 14, 1,500 people. I'm not saying that we need to do that every week, but one thing you can do as a fan is bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a child. They'll love it. And it just expands the game. Schools, get your kids in schools. If your kids play a sport, talk about us, shout about us, share stuff on social media. It's only going to do us better as a club in the long run. Sponsorship, if you're looking to sponsor, that massively helps the club as well. Ollie touched on what the season ticket promotions that they're running and stuff like that. And then just come down to the change room after the game. We're signing stuff. We're taking pictures with the fans. If you've got young kids who want a picture, want something signed, come down. We'll sort you out.
And what about you, Ollie? What's your message for the fans?
Just excitement. I said it before, Graham. Like, this club's unbelievable. Like, the ticket price is very reasonable to other tickets in the town and around the league. I don't think was the dearest ticket in the league by far, but it's just guaranteed entertainment. And like, it's been a bit of a lengthy pod this, but we've not spoke for a while, and I know the fans are going to be eager to listen. But we're going to put a product that's very worthy of getting behind out on the ice. You're going to be proud to associate yourself with these lads. They're going to go out to battle every single night. We're going to find ways to win, and we're going to need you. We're going to need you in times where we need a bit of momentum. Going to places like D-side and taking over that corner and hearing the Hawks when the boys come out for warm-up and it's unbelievable. We're the best followed team in the league. Like, if anybody votes against that, then they've either not been around the game long enough or they've not been watching. It's unbelievable, and just continue to do that. Like, the merch, best merch ever. Like, get yourself a hat, and then wear your hat at the gym, wear your hat at the football, and speak to the guy next to you. And like Andy said, like, I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and whenever I've brought someone from work, they always return. Someone who I used to play cricket with in the summer, anyone. And there's a guy I'd like to give a special shout out to, Blur Turnbull, he's called, and his little boy Hudson. I changed jobs just under 12 months ago, and Blur's the electrical project manager, and he's from Ayr, and he used to play hockey when he was a junior, and I gave him some free tickets. He come down, brought his little boy Hudson, who was 8 years old at the time. I think he's 9 now, and he's done all his skating grades at Altrincham, lives in Stockport. He's got all the gear now, and he's just completed the Best of British ice hockey camp, and he's been invited to Manchester Storm Academy. So that makes me feel $1 million. So Blur, Hudson, thank you very much. And there's other people that could be do that, but we can guarantee you a good time this year.
I actually saw them both at Puck Stop in Sheffield. I was there for the fixtures meeting. I was buying some equipment, and he was getting kitted out.
Yeah, how cool is that? That's from a free ticket coming watching. The only downside, and I've said this to Blair himself, is his favourite player is Tom Barry, so he's got number 7 Turnbull on at this Best of British ice hockey camp, but we'll let him off with that. He's a pretty good guy, Paz, to be fair.
Yeah, he is, yeah. Definitely a fan favourite. Right, enjoy the rest of your summer, what is left of it. Training begins this week.
Golf day.
And golf day in a couple of days as well. So have a great time, guys, and we'll speak to you both again soon.
Yes, pal.
Take care, guys.
Hawks Talk.